Welcome back to Conversations with Biz. That's Ben, I'm Israel, and that's Zeke's. And Wallo is catching heat from the black community from something he said recently, and we are going to have a conversation about it today. So let's listen to what he said.
Us? Oh, I'm black. Oh, black people. Nobody gives a about that. Kill that Either you got a good business or you don't. All that don't nobody want to hear that. That's a hustle. Support me because I got a black business. Is your restaurant clean? Is the food good? Do you got consistent cooks? Is the material of your good? Stop doing that. Oh, you support the white people? No, I support consistency, baby. Yeah. About what color you is. I'm gonna spend my money. That paper, I'm gonna spend them deals where the I want to spend it at. Whether it's Porsche, Ferrari, I'm gonna do what the I want to do while I'm here. But I'm gonna tell you one thing: I ain't gonna be finessed off some black. But one thing about it, 70% of you is not going to make it. I'm not no fake motivational speaker that talk this dumb. I'm the number one in the country. You know why? Y'all seen me come out of the penitentiary. I make millions and I make millionaires.
So, what do you guys think?
Firstly, you might tell me who Wallo is. I don't know who I'm going for Wallo. Secondly, I've been saying this from day, bruv. I've been saying this: black pound, black coins, black this. Fam, listen, I want quality, bruv. Don't be telling me about black. I want quality. But who is Wallo? He's got a bit of a dirty mouth.
He's like a self-help
Yeah,
motivational preacher.
yeah.
Motivational speaker.
Gilly the Kid. Do you know Gilly the Kid?
No. He's got
Gilly the Kid. One. He used to be back in the day. One rapper from Philly. I think he might have been a part of G Unit for a minute. Or he tried to get into G Unit, I think got kicked out. I don't even know. But that's his cousin. Then.
Right.
Yeah, he was in jail for a while. Came out, but he's done something for himself. Do you know what I mean? So
road guy, yeah?
Yeah, it was a road guy.
Road and reforms, we should call it that.
Road and reforms, yeah. Man,
that's big, man. That's big, bro. I think, like, nice to hear that man's getting things together. Obviously, like, could have put it a bit more eloquently, but he's talking from his heart, from where he's at. But his point, I think, is poignant, bro. I think a lot of people think that they can piggyback off of one. We spoke, like, we talk about these things in different shades, in different, videos that we have. But the color of your skin, your preference, sexually, these things, they're not to give you an advantage, bro. Like, you got to do the work. Just do the work. So I hear what he's saying. Like, if you don't deserve to sit at the table if you can't play the game. The way the game needs to be played. I remember when we were in school, we'd have maths class, and you have different sets. Set 1, set 2, or the top set, middle set, bottom set, bro. And if you can't math, if your maths was not mathing, as the young people say, but you were not smelling the top set, bro. Top set was for the people who knew what they were doing, bro. So, and it's like, this is life. Like, we spend our money where we want to spend it. If I know your restaurant is dirty, it stinks, you got rats, you got mice, your food tastes good one day and off the next, bro, I ain't gonna come back there. I ain't gonna recommend you to other people. It's funny. I was emailing someone the other day about a business transaction, and I was saying to them, look, I've been, servicing your business for quite some time, and when something goes wrong, I expect you guys to be out on the fore. You should be emailing me, informing me, etc., etc. I'm having a dialogue with this person, and thankfully they came back in, and I said, look, I can't continue to recommend your business. I've been an advocate of your business. I can't recommend you if you can't, support your customers in the way that I expect you to support us, top class service. And they emailed back first. We went back and forth a little bit, but they came back with an email and said, you know what, we've acknowledged what you've said, and this is what we're going to do in terms of your request. And bro, that's the type of business you want, not the type of people that you email. If there's another business, I've been emailing back and forth, bro. These guys do not respond to emails. They responded to my support email once. Since then, I've not heard from them, bro. And if you start looking online, their reviews online are so poor because their customer service is shot to bits, bro. So people are watching you constantly for your performance, bro. Like, yeah, man, like that blackness has got to stop, man. I'm telling you.
I will say,
what does black mean even anyway? Like, don't even get started with that. But
I will say though, if there's two restaurants and there's a black restaurant, a black-owned restaurant, and another restaurant that's owned by, I don't know, like another ethnic group or whatever, and there's clean as so the business is run, the customer service is similar, this, that, and the other. I will more likely go to a black restaurant. I know people might say, yeah, but I will most likely go to a black restaurant. Why? Because I remember I heard like a stat. Maybe it doesn't really apply to here. Maybe it applies to America. But I heard a stat about how often the dollar, yeah, it was in America, how often the dollar circulates in a community. So the black community apparently circulated so low because they would always spend outside of their community, and other community it would circle like way more. Do you know what I mean? Because they took care of their people. And I feel like don't get me wrong, whether you're an American, I think one of Bizzle's, we need to react to that. One of Bizzle's tracks, like it don't matter whether you're white, black, whatever. It don't matter. If you're a Christian, I value that over my skin color. I value that first over my skin color. Now, saying that, I do know a lot of people support their communities. They do support. You can tell. Well, actually, yeah. A lot of people they support their own. Like even us living in the UK, like we see Whitechapel, like we see how the Asian community they're together. We see Stamford Hill, the Jewish community, how they're together. Same way. Like me being Congolese, for example, I know for sure. Like I would want to support someone who was Congolese. If they were doing things correctly, if they were by the book and they're following, like because like I see, you know how I know. I feel like this is. Can I say it's put in my heart by God? I feel like I can. I know I've heard of countries being in like a war state. Yeah, I'll hear it, and it didn't pain me as much as when I heard Congo was in a war state.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It didn't pain me as much. There's something about that place that I'm connected to. Like God chose for me to be born there for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
I think. Sorry, go on, G, my bad.
No, I'm done.
I was going to say that, earnestly, we all have biases, bro. And I think that's the truth. I think we all operate under the guise of our biases. And I think a part of scripture even is to help us undo some of that. Although people may say that there are certain biases prevalent in scripture itself. Yet I feel as though, like, there are values, bro. It's like if I see those two restaurants and they're the same, and one's ethnically owned by, let's say, an African community, and one's by a Chinese community, but I'm gonna go to the one that I want to eat. I want to go to the restaurant whose food I want, bro.
Yeah.
And I feel as though going based on, and I'm saying outside of the whole bias thing, because sometimes it's just like I'm grown up eating African food, so African food will always be something I deviate to, because there's certain African foods I really like and I appreciate. Yet outside of that, I think we should really consciously make a decision to do things that we want to do because we want to do it, and not because of some kind of a community association. When you talk about that fact in America, I think the situation is when you look at the black community in America versus the other ethnic communities, these other communities are actually ethnicities, bro. Like, just like you said, you just mentioned Congo now, and it's like if you go to a country, you go to America, you're in the UK, you notice that there are communities that kind of support each other. They do support each other, but in America, I think the reason that statistic is a little bit skewed is because black isn't a community. Black isn't an ethnicity. No, excuse me. Black isn't an ethnicity. No, it's not a community. It's not an ethnicity. So we're forming this abstract, community, this idea of a community where a community doesn't exist. So in a way, it's like saying one is organic and one's not organic. And I feel as though naturally the organic communities will thrive because these are true, genuine, organic communities. Whereas the other one is this construct that has been designed by man, and we're trying to give credence to this community. We're trying to say that, this is a real thing. Let's bond around it. When in actuality, I don't think that's really the case. I hope I'm making sense, but it's like, that's the way I see it, bro. So I don't know. I think we're chopping up a couple of different things here, though. Really, I think we're chopping up a couple of different things.
Obviously, to the point Ben's making about the money circulating, my question immediately is, why is the money circulating in that way? Is it a situation where those businesses, those businesses are just as good? Are those businesses present, or are those businesses worse? So they're going out. Like, I just think to myself, it's like, if I have a business in a location and I'm losing money to my competitors, in my mind, I'm like, okay, what do I need to do to be better to improve what I'm offering, so much so that the decision in their mind isn't, I'm going somewhere else over there. How do I get them to come to my business, to my establishment, to pay me?
Right.
How do I get better and better and better to the point where it's not like, yeah, you're just coming here to do me a favor? Because when you're doing something for someone that they don't deserve or they haven't worked for, it's like that can hurt them as much as it can help them. And I don't feel like a lot of people speak enough about that equation, that part of the equation. And so it's not, I don't always look at it like, yeah, like kind of like Zeke said, like I'm going to the restaurant I want to go to. And that's going to come down to, most likely than not, previous experiences. If I have 2 restaurants, we've all been there in situations like, oh, where am I going to eat today? I'm going to here. Like, and it's like, you start going through your mind, like those previous experiences you had before, the good ones. And it's like, you know what? One of them is going to win out. And there's a reason one of them is going to win out. And I don't think it should be, yeah, this person's the same skin tone as me.
No, it shouldn't be. And it shouldn't be. But like, here's the thing. Some people specifically won't go to a black restaurant because it's owned by black people. And in fact, I would even say a lot of people won't go to a black restaurant because it's owned by black people.
You think so?
Those people have problems. And listen. Those
You're absolutely
people
right.
got problems. Those people got problems. Just for the record, they have issues.
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree. A lot of them have. Like the majority of people. Like even with like you asked earlier on before about why is the money circulating outside of the black community rather than in the black community? I don't necessarily think it's every single time it's to do with the fact that the companies outside of the black community are better, or the businesses outside of the black community are better. But even black people themselves have a bias towards their own.
But why?
Me personally, like from like recently, because before I think we had one of our podcasts where we was talking about this, and you know, like when you get told, I actually had a conversation with one of my friends, and it was actually to do with black people and Christianity, right? And he was going in. He was just like, nah, like this, that, and the other. And I was like, look, I get it. I actually understand why you might feel the way you feel. But I feel your feelings are uneducated. I feel like if you wanted to know Christianity for yourself, you will find that whatever was used to enslave black people, if it was Christianity, I don't know the history.
It wasn't.
Whatever was used, well, this is his take here. He believes that this was the case. Whatever was used, I could promise you, it can't be Christianity. Like it might have been a falsified version of Christianity, but it couldn't have been the genuine. I was like if you want, you can go back history. Like you can go in wherever you like you find history, the same way you'll find history about Christopher Columbus or whatever the case might be. You can go look up Christianity, you'll find that wasn't the case. But you've allowed whatever ideas that you've been fed to prevent you from even looking into it. And this is the problem. A lot of people, and is it right? No, it's not right. But a lot of people still live life. Okay, cool. I heard there was one, it might have been some woman. She goes, you know how hurtful it is, yeah? I've experienced this, maybe on a minor scale, but I've experienced this. You know how hurtful it is when you're trying to tell someone why you feel pain, but they just can't relate to you, and they're telling you to get over it. Like, like today, in Congo, so when Congo was colonized, it was colonized by Belgium, King Leopold. King Leopold, you know what he'll do? So if you was a parent and you was told to work and you didn't want to work, he would chop your child's hands off. Do you know today in Belgium, I think from the last post that I was seeing, they still sell chocolates of hands to symbolize that.
Shut up. Crazy. That's
madness. So imagine a person who is from Congo seeing that. Now imagine that person explaining to a person, you have no idea how much that hurts me when I see that. And then someone turning around saying, dude, you just need to get over it. You're not a slave anymore.
But you should, personally, I feel like the people in Belgium should still have, if they're human, that's gonna like them understanding that are gonna should have some sort of natural emotion towards that. Like, wow, that's crazy, that's sick, that's deep.
Yeah, but bro, remember, in order for you to make, in order from, like, in order to we know about it now with in order to be able to hurt somebody and for it not to matter, you first have to dehumanize that person.
Yeah.
It has to become normal. So even a lot of these people who maybe won't go to a black shop, but they don't even really understand why, it's because like there is a bias within them that somewhere along the line, see that those set of people, they're not like you guys.
Yeah, like Zeke said it already, like bias, the word like that is in my mind just a business term, like it's branding, isn't it? Like people have a brand, like the thing that keeps coming to my mind as we talk about this is black time. They call it black time when you're late or you're not going to show up early, and it's like
African time
that came from somewhere. And it's one of the things where it's like, obviously we talk about so often about programming, we talk about language, the things that we think, the stuff that we do, etc. So it's like, when I hear stuff like that, it's like I reject. It's not black time.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? It's I would liken it to it's poor time and it's rich time. Like that's how I look at these things, and it's the same thing I think to myself. Like when I think about the stuff like the restaurant, it's like, and Wallo said it, like, is it a good restaurant? Are the places clean? Are the people working there good staff? All of this kind of stuff. It's like that's the thing which is going to help people in downtrodden, poor, lacking situations to build yourself mentally and realize, like, no, you're a valuable person. Like, you're made in God's image. And that starts firstly with the individual. And then obviously, as we talk about, it builds out to a family and then the whole community. So that's the kind of thing which moves the needle. Taking ownership of who you actually are and realizing something valuable can come from you. And then when we now get to like a restaurant or a business or whatever, it's like that person over there who's been running a successful business for 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, however long, is a human just like you are. They started at some point and take the steps in the right direction.
Yeah.
And do you know what I'm saying? Don't see it as this black time, so that means I always have to show up late or anything along those lines. Like, no, show up early.
And the black community do that to themselves as well, bro, which is not really helpful. Like, you know, like at the end of the day, like I'm not gonna eat at a restaurant that's dirty. I don't care if you're black, white, pink, yellow, it doesn't matter to me. I'm not getting sick to support you. What am I doing that for? That's stupid. Do you know what I mean? I'm not feeding my family your food because you're saying you're black. Why am I doing that? Do you know what I mean? And at the same time, I remember, like, we must have, like, I'm not targeting anyone here, you know, like they're, you know, well known for this, but I remember we must have called a Caribbean shop one time to order food. I was like, we're ordering the food. It's like, so you could tell that she's busy. The lady's busy who's taking the order, yeah. And she's just like, what do you want? Obviously, in the Jamaican accent. I'm not going to try the Jamaican accent.
Oh, you want, Narbin?
So she was going in. She was like, what do you want? This, that, and the other. And then, so after she's collected the whole order, you could tell she's busy. She just locks us off. She just hangs up the phone. And the thing is, because of like the narrative that's already been painted about Caribbean shops, we just laughed. We wasn't even angry, and that's not a good thing.
Yeah, it isn't.
That's what I wanted to ask here. Don't you think when we subscribe to the black community because we say they're black, or the so-called black community because we say they're black, aren't we really lowering the standard? And it's kind of alluded to it earlier. He's talking about helping or hurting them. Aren't we really lowering the standard of their quality because we're always going to go there just because of who they are? We're always going to go there just because they're one of us. But truly, if we went there because their quality was top, their marketing was good, their staff were excellent, their telephone manner was, top notch, as it were, bro, wouldn't we always like patronize them?
So, like, I'm not saying like patting bad behavior or rewarding bad behavior. I'm not saying that. Like, I'm saying if I know, like, those people are not going to come here because of how you look like, and you look like me, and I know that your shop is as good as that person, I'm not going to their shop. If it's next to your shop, I'm not doing that. The same way, if I'm at, I don't know, a bus stop or something like that, and I know someone's bullying someone because maybe they're bigger. Do you know what I mean? And this person, maybe he's the same size as me. Do you know what I mean? I would hope that God would give me the strength to be able to stick up for this person. I would hope that God would give me the strength to be able to do that. Because one thing I hate, even, and I'm guilty of this as well. Like where I work, I'm the only person of who looks like me, yeah. And I know when I first started, like I would almost like try to like speak a certain way. I didn't want to appear like the loudmouth, get old, this, that, and the other. Do you know what I mean? I didn't want to. It was in the back of my mind, and I didn't even have to do that. My CV told the skills that I had. I didn't have to do that. I could be whoever I want as long as I'm doing the work. It's fine. But why was I thinking that way? Do you know what I mean? And I feel like over time, even though it is, I think it's majorly our responsibility to get out of that mindset. It is there, and it is there, like whether we like it or whether we don't. So for me, I'm not even necessarily just supporting you just for the fact that like you're black, this, that, and the other. Like no, like you're underdog. And a lot of the times in scenarios where you put yourself out there, a lot of the times you are an underdog. Like, well, we've seen all that the news about Diddy and all that kind of stuff there. Now I don't agree with none of this. I think the guy is dodgy from day. Do you know what I mean? But there are many dodgy people like that guy who are in Hollywood now. They're not gonna get attacked. It's weird how like, you know, like the Jay-Z's, the P Diddy, the what's his the other guy, Bill Cosby. Do you know what I mean? These guys who's made it to billionaire statuses, right? Now, whatever secret things that they do behind closed door are now coming out. When there's plenty of them people, I'm saying get them all. I'm not even saying keep them there. I'm saying get them all, like regardless of what color they are. Do you know what I mean? But it's weird how it's almost like, bruv, like you watch football where, bruv, the whole crowd is making monkey sounds. There's one black player, this whole crowd's making monkey sounds. The black player switches, and his football club will tell him, shut your mouth, play football. Do you know what I mean? It's like, don't react to it. But do you not see the crowd? Do you not see, like, I couldn't imagine being in that situation. There could be like tens of thousands of people on the stands making monkey sounds, chucking bananas on a pitch flag.
Obviously, bro, it's like, that's obviously, you know, before we even go there, yeah. Obviously, you mentioned Diddy. And it's like, you mentioned Diddy. When you're mentioning Diddy, though, I'm like, bro, but we had Weinstein. We had Epstein. We had them, man, like, what, a few years before. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like, they're there, like, bro.
Yeah, no, not like how black people are, bro. I don't know. That's
obviously, like, bro. It's like the Diddy thing is the more recent one, and it's been a big story. But, bro, that the Weinstein thing was big too. Epstein was big.
It was, bro. Like obviously, like we know, like they off people that they don't need anymore. Like we already know that, or they moved them from the positions that they are currently in, or whatever the case might be. Bro, like there's plenty of them now, but we couldn't. Some of them are outwardly speaking, bro. Like, could I say their name? Like, yeah, you know what I mean. Well, Bill Gates is out here. Bill Gates is out here talking about. Man's out here talking about murking people off, bro. Like, he's out here talking about how he wants to like take out populations and that, bro. He's been going to Africa for years with his so-called help, him and his wife. Do you get
foundation?
What I'm saying?
Yeah, the foundation. Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's been going for years, bro. Like, man's outwardly said it, like, yeah, if we continue to do this, we should like minimize the population and all that. It's like, well, how do we do that? And why Africa? Why are you in Africa, bro? Do you know what I mean? It's like, look, I don't know much, but I'm just from what I can see, it's like there's a certain set of people that, you know, like people tend to target in a negative way. And I'll also say we don't do ourselves justice either. Do you know what I mean? The music, the the stereotypes and all that kind of rubbish there that we put out about ourselves. We do not do ourselves justice. And sometimes it's actually sad because it's like what do you expect? Do you know what I mean? It's like when your music talks about women as though they're just objects. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what do you expect? So it's not even a thing of just like, no, like black this, black that, black this, black that. It's like I see what's happening, but at the same time as well, it's like, look, but if I see a black business doing well for themselves and they treat me like a valued customer 100%, and it's a thing that I need. I'm not just gonna go to a black, do you know what I mean? Just because you're black, I'm gonna buy it from you. No, if I need the thing, I'll come to you if your business is treating me right 100%. Do you know what I mean? But
obviously, bro, it's like, this is the thing. It's like, if a business is treating you well, doing well by you, it's like, or let me frame it this way: a good business will treat you well.
Yeah,
and a good business isn't contingent on, it isn't necessarily linked to the skin tone of the business owner. It's just a good business that treats you well.
Okay, yeah.
But that's just it. Like, good business establishments, good restaurants, good whatever, like, whatever we're talking about, a good version of that thing will treat you well. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like, the race thing to me, like the skin tone thing for me is just, I just feel like it's a secondary thing. Like, it's not like 50% of good businesses have to be owned by Jewish people or owned by someone from an Asian country or from America or whatever, or from Africa. Like, a good business is just a good business. If you want a good business, it's attainable. You just have to desire a good business and then take the actions of a good business, and eventually, as long as there's enough time, that will materialize.
Okay, let me ask you man this question, yeah, because we had this conversation before, like when we were talking. Remember
it's
when
life
we had
a game? It's life a game, like chess.
Yeah. So I believe like there are some individuals who they can have a good business, but it might be more challenging. Whether it matters or not, like, I'm not saying whether this matters or not, but they will have more challenges getting themselves out there compared to others. Now, does it mean you fold and you don't do anything or you complain? No, it doesn't. You do what you got to do to get yourself out there. Do you know what I mean? But there are people who are going to. It's almost like, I don't know. Like, with God, all things are possible. I believe that. So hence why, for me, like I'm not afraid. I believe. I believe. You know, like, if it's for me, it's going to be for me. If it's not for me, do you know what I mean? It's like, I believe that.
Definitely.
Like, but the same way, it's like, yeah, you do have like really good businesses out there, but like some of them, like, you're not gonna make it, maybe because the person just doesn't necessarily like you like that. Do you get what I'm saying? So I believe that, man. But ultimately, like I said, like, if you partner with God, there is a major difference. I honestly believe that. So where people want to put, where people might want to block you in certain places, that might not necessarily happen for you. Do you get what I'm saying?
What do you think, Six?
Bro, I guess I stand by my position. You've made the point quite clear there. Quality of service is what defines a good business, a good product. And I think we should always consider that in terms of our, the spend of our money, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, for me, I think it would be foolish of me, bro, to invest my money in a place where the person looks like me, but the service or product they provide is subpar the standard I desire. I'm not like, obviously, I've been out to eat before, and I know, like, obviously, when us, the brothers and us, we go out, obviously there are different temperaments in the restaurant, different temperaments at the table, different temperaments with the servers. My point is that, like, I can be extremely forgiving, extremely gracious, but I can give a business purveyor like one chance. I think everybody deserves at least one chance, bro. So I'll give them that individual chance, bro. But after that, I ain't coming back just because you're my native countryman. That bro, that fam, that doesn't make sense to me, because I'm then being a poor steward of the resources that's given to me.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm saying? But this goes back to, I've touched on this in different settings before. We're talking about like ideologies, bro, and then we start delving into religions, and it's like, yeah, I must invest with you because you're my community and countrymen. And just in case anyone's confused, I'm not against us developing our communities. No way. I'm not against us developing our ethnic groups. No way. But when you're telling me that we should do this based on standards that go against, what is meaningful. So like you're saying to me, yeah, look, let's all invest money in this person's business so they can become rich and our community can grow, but their product is rubbish. Bro, I can't do that, man. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I agree with you, fam.
I would be foolish, bro. I would be foolish.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Like, no way. Like, I don't advise anybody. Like, I get annoyed. Like, like you buy something from somewhere and the thing turns up and is rubbish. You know what I mean? And then when you try to call customer service, like they're talking to you like you didn't just spend money with them or whatever, I ain't going with you again. I mean, I'm not doing that again. I don't care your background, community, whatever. That don't matter to me. I'm spending my hard-earned money. I work for a living, mate. Do you know what I mean? So I ain't stole this money. This money belongs to me. Blood, sweat, and tears. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not just giving you my money like that for absolutely no reason. I'm not doing that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I guess I'm just saying like I think you said it to me once before, Zeke. Like, it's like, yeah, bro, I root for the underdog, and I feel like I've been like that all my life, bro. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like I want to see the underdog win. Do you know what I mean?
You mentioned it earlier on, and I heard you say it. And when you mentioned the underdog, in my mind, I was thinking, yeah, you know what? That's a different story. When we're talking about the underdog, like David and Goliath sort of thing, we're talking about something slightly different. And I feel as though when there's a business, like you got a business that's already there, you got this fresh business that's starting, this business is trying to come up. Yeah, for the sake of that business, like I said it just now. I believe every business deserves one chance, one choice. I will support, I will, back the underdog in that, so that they too have the opportunity to go. Like, it's like there's like new brands, new products, I don't mind investing. As like, I'll give you a shot. I will give you a shot because I know what it's like to be the underdog, to be the one that, someone looks at and doesn't believe that you can make it. And then, when you have your opportunity, I've capitalized on that and seen where it's taken me. So I believe everyone deserves that. And I want to be a supporter of those. But when we're talking about, forsaking, like closing my eyes and forsaking the underdog piece, bro, and saying, oh, because of the color of your skin, I should keep coming back. That's like, bro, I can never agree with that, man. I can never agree with that, man. I think that's honestly, like I said just now, I think I'll be foolish. So I will support you as underdog. I'll give you a chance. Do well, you see me come back. Do well, you'll see me come back. Do well, you may see me forsake the big brand names because of you. Because as an underdog, you're doing the best you can with the resources and the abilities you've got. Yeah, man, I'll back you. But if you're telling me to keep coming to you and just continue to be gracious and forgiving, even though you don't do well, your standards aren't up there. You're like, bro, it's like, I can't back that, man. I can't. Like, it don't make sense to me.
Yeah. Obviously,
it's just
Ben posed it before. It's like he talked about how certain people are in harder situations. So how do we incorporate that? Is there a place to incorporate that into this conversation we're talking about? Where it's like,
yeah, okay, I think that's the underdog story, though, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think based on, that we had that conversation about Ngannou, and I think what Izzy saying is, if you got not an underdog, but if you got someone starting here in the UK versus someone starting in some remote location in Africa, based on that conversation we had the other time, you would have been like, the person in Africa is at a lesser starting point than the person here.
Well, it depends where in Africa, yeah.
I'm in some remote location.
So in that scenario, should we go to the African restaurant because it's harder it's harder, apparently. It's harder. Should we?
It might be a preference. It might be, for me, like, yeah, I would want to support that person who I feel like, if I got, obviously being a believer means I communicate with Christ first. I communicate with God first. Where should I put my money? Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe it's even just like because of my personal experiences. Do you know what I mean? It's like if I think back, you know, like just like my own country, like where I've come from, and that, and just knowing, like I hear people complaining about here, like, and how hard it is over here. Now, whilst I don't want to take the experiences away and say, shush, it's not that bad, get on with it. I don't want to do that because I know God don't do that to us. Do you know what I mean? God doesn't say, I don't want to hear you because you're in England and someone's in a worse state or worse place, or even just, oh, you've just got a cold, someone's got a broken leg. Do you know what I mean? I personally don't believe God relates to us in that way. So therefore, I don't want to do that to people. So I will communicate to God first. Where should I put my money? But I do feel my heart more drawn towards someone who I feel has it harder to begin with. I feel my heart drawn towards more that, or draw towards more that scenario compared to someone like even here. Like sometimes I catch myself someone complaining about something, and then I'm just like, I might not say it outwardly, but in the back of my mind, I'll be thinking like you don't know how bad you can have it. Like you have no idea. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and having children, I would advise my children not to think in that manner because, you know, like I've always said, like if things was to change drastically, you wouldn't be able to cope because you think your little, my 9 to 5 only pays my rent and the food I got to eat is a bad situation. You know what I mean? Where there's someone out there that don't have a 9 to 5, but they've got kids. Do you know what I mean? It's like
and rent.
They've got a landlord who doesn't have the laws that we have here. Where when a person can stay in your house, what they call squatters, and the government will say to you, it's illegal for you to go over there and beat them up and get them out. Try that in Africa, fam. Yeah, that's not working. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, man, I just find my heart drawn towards more the person who I feel like, especially like if you've been criticized towards it. And this is the thing, it's not even so much about the color of your skin, bro. I feel like for me, it's more so to do with just, I feel it's a community of people that gets criticized for whatever reason. And it's sad because there are people in that community who the criticism actually belongs to, and it's affecting the people who that criticism don't belong to. Because, you know, like they say in the black community, there's NIGG, whatever, and then there's black folks. Do you know what I mean? You have the black folks who have good businesses, but because of the NIGG, whatever, like people associate them with them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. And this is where, like, you could have a good business in a hood, but nobody don't want to go there. Maybe it's because the black folk who owns that business has the NIGG outside of that business. Do you know what I mean? But you live in that community.
So isn't it on the successful businesses in the community to uphold and uplift the standard of the, like, do you know what I'm saying? Lead the transformation.
Yeah, but he's saying there's still ninjas around. There's ninjas everywhere, bro. These ninjas are outside your business. They live in that community. Those ninjas don't want their standard to be upheld. So you're a successful businessman. This is the problem, yeah. So and we work with what we've got in it. So you plant your business at home because you feel I want this community to thrive. But what you have to understand is you're now competing with the temperature, the temperament of that community. And how do you force them? How do you force? You can't. How
You
do
don't
you
force them, innit?
raise
You just persuade. You do things which persuade them to aspire for something higher.
But I hear you, brother. I'm with it. Brother, like, listen, I think I see both sides of the point that you guys are both making now. Like, I think what you're really calling out is compassion. And I think compassion is a big piece of life. I think it's important for us to look at those who are less fortunate, those who are in different situations, those who have been where we've been before, and express compassion towards them in the way that God Almighty has given us the ability to do so. Do you know what I'm saying? If that's resource or whatever. But I just, my concern is when that's what I'm drawing from what you've said at this latter part. But I think when that compassion is clouded with the color of the skin, and I'm not saying we shouldn't show I think we should show compassion to everyone that needs it. But when, you know, I just think there's a line that can be blurred. There's a blurry space there, a gray area, and I think that's the challenge, bro. Where it's not like people are doing it and not actually clear on why they're doing it, and in turn, it's just like, yeah, you know what? It's about the black folk. It's about the black folk. But really, like, it's something else. And if it's compassion, but I'm all for compassion. If it's for expressing compassion, like that's what the underdog. It's like I express compassion to those people. I can relate, but you know,
and you got to be mindful as well. Like those people who are, and one of the things that Wallo said was like, yeah, you're not gonna gaslight me. Do you know what I mean? To come shop at your shop, like talking about. Do you know what I mean? And it's like it's sad. It's sad as well, because most people who will give that shout, or like the black community this, black community that, they won't hold most of the black community accountable. You know what I mean? It's like that's the same person who won't say nothing about the music that's being played, the gun violence, the drill. Like, I was watching a documentary on Chicago. Hey, that place is crazy. That place is crazy, and it's like it's traveled down, and I guess they call them YNs now. You know what I mean? It's like the craziness that's happening in Chicago, bro, is actually quite nuts. And I'm pretty sure there's people out there that's like, yo, like, we need to stop this and this, that, and the other. But and then there's like loads of people who are putting that stuff on radio, putting that stuff on TV, like. And then again, if we was to go back to the video with what's her name again, that Dolce woman, like the ideologies that's being spewed out for these youngers to absorb, and then to think, in order for me to be a man, I got to carry a gun. Like, someone can't look at me in a certain way, otherwise I'm going to retaliate. I got to belong in a gang and this, that, and the other. And it's like the very people who are talking about support the black community won't speak against that. They won't speak against that. So it's like, what is it you really want? Do you want to support the black community? Because if you really do, then you got to start holding some people accountable.
No, I think that's such a powerful point, and definitely, I think that's a wider topic that we really need to even go, like, we to give like credence to, really do justice on, because I think this is such a true point, that we are biased and unbalanced in our perspective of things when it comes to who and what we're saying we support. Because how can you, like, that point you just raised is so powerful. How can you dance to, purchase, support these musicians that are, you know, degrading your very existence, yet at the same time, the same mouth, it's oxymoron, say that, you know what, I want to support and uplift my community. I want to spend the black dollar or the black pound. Bro, it's like, bro, it don't make sense, bro. That don't make sense.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy.
All right, guys, what do you think? Let us know in the comment section below. Should you just be supporting your own people just because, or should you be supporting excellence and aspiring for excellence? Let us know. Until next time, peace.
Peace.